I mentioned in the last video that as soon as I got back from holiday, I would be sowing my aubergines, chilies and peppers. So that's what I'm going to do now. Now, I'm in London in the UK and everybody's different in terms of what their environment is and everything else. But the majority of people that you see on YouTube growing or sowing vegetables now have other means of growing them on. So most people who are doing that will have a greenhouse or grow lights or heated mats, etc. You can grow things in a warm kitchen or dining room or lounge. But if you grow too much at this time of year, you won't have the light. And then once things are germinated, it will be too warm and not enough light, and they get very, very leggy. So you have to kind of think about what plants you do want to sow at this time of year and what you should just leave. Because things like onions, like spring onions, lettuces, blah, blah, blah. Spinach, I will be doing some of that, sowing some of that. But I do have other things like grow lights, like a greenhouse, that I can then move them onto somewhere that's cool and very light. But if you don't have those things, just wait. Those plants and seeds will catch up and you won't see a lot of difference. So you're probably thinking, well, why are people sowing seeds so early? Partly because as a gardener, you get itchy fingers and you just can't help yourself. The other reason is that sometimes people like me, for example, are self-sufficient or try to be self-sufficient. So we want to get some early crops because we've gone through the winter not having certain vegetables and we want to bring them on early so we can eat something a bit different. And also because if we get some early crops, it means we can put other crops in, so we can get 2 crops or 2 rounds of crops in the same space. And when you're trying to be self-sufficient, the more you can grow, then the better it is because you can put things in storage, etc. So there's many reasons why people do sow their seeds early, but if you don't have the environment to grow them, don't bother, just wait. As I said, the seeds will catch up. Otherwise, you're just wasting plants because they'll get very leggy and then they'll start getting sick or they won't grow particularly well. There's absolutely no rush. And if you can't grow things like peppers, chilies and aubergines in your house because you don't have somewhere else then to move them onto, then just buy a few plants. Or because the thing about those 3 plants is, and that's why I'm sowing them now, is because they are slow growers and they need quite a long time to grow before they actually will crop. But if you don't have the environment and the equipment to do that, just go and buy a few plants. It's all the same. So with that, I am going to grow my chilies, peppers and aubergines now, as I said. And for me, I'm a little bit late, but it doesn't matter because I know that they will catch up. So I'm growing some sweet peppers, and I'm not only growing the peppers and these plants for myself, but we also have a plant sale in the early spring, and we sell them to raise money for our charitable work that we do. So if you think, blimey, that's a lot of seeds for one person, it's because it's not just for me. So in the bell pepper department, I'm growing I'm growing Beauty Bell, and these are sweet red peppers. I'm growing long red Marconi, that's a nice pepper too. And I'm growing a royal purple, and that's really pretty when you see it growing. And that's the same. And then I'm growing some yellow Fiesta. So I'm growing some yellow Fiesta and some, this one. And this one is I think this is orange. This is an orange sweet pepper. And then there's another red sweet pepper as well, Bendigo. So these are the ones, there's no picture of it on here, but they're the peppers. And in the chili department, I'm growing habanero orange. I've got a few packets of these because you also got to remember, not so much with this one, there's 50 seeds in here, but in some of these, there's only 10 seeds. So 10 seeds isn't going to be enough. I would grow 10 seeds just for myself. You've got to think about seeds that don't germinate, seeds that you lose on the way, and also a couple of seeds just to have as spares, as backups. So 10 seeds is what I'd grow for my own use. So I grow a few packets of those, as I said, to sell. And then we've got these gourmet jalapenos. And we also have some Scotch bonnet. These are nice and hot. And some cayenne peppers as well, chilies. And then I have a whole lot of teeny weeny packets, and there's a lot of them, and in there's only say 3 or 4. Some of these are for my personal use, well most of them are, except I've got some red Thai chilies, they're quite popular, and I've got, these are AJ lemons, and these are popular as well, so I'll grow those. And I've got some, we do a lot of Indian cooking, so we have Kashmiri chilies, but to tell you the truth, I've not had a lot of success in growing these. Out of a whole load of seeds that I've put in, I haven't had a very good germination at all. So this is last year's seed. I'm going to sow them all and hope maybe something will come up. So I have a whole load of little bits and pieces of seeds that I've picked up along the way, and I'll pop them in and see what comes up. But on them, in the main, those seeds of the chilies are the ones I'm going to be growing. And then we have the wonderful aubergines, and the main ones I'm growing in the aubergine department are, whoops, this is tung ping aubergine, or ping tung aubergines, and these are Chinese aubergines, and these are really good for stir frying. They stay a little bit firmer, and you just kind of halve them and halve them again, long ways and across, and they're great in stir fries, better than the other aubergines. So again, with these, I haven't always been very successful, so I'm trying again this year, and these are for just my personal use rather than trying to sell them. But if a lot germinate, then I will. And then I have one called Genie, and this is supposed to be a early ripening aubergine. So I try and put a couple of those in. And Farmer's Long. Oops, I'm losing the little stakes that I've made for them. Black Beauty, another popular dark aubergine. And Carla, and these are white aubergines. Oh, and I've got one more packet, Money Maker. So I shall grow all of those. I'll probably keep about half a dozen of them, probably maybe 2 of each variety, and we will sell the rest. So all of those seeds I grow exactly in the same way, but I give them a seed tray each. And because there are a lot of seeds, I'm using one of the larger seed trays here, and I've just put a piece of cardboard down the center to so that I can sow either sides. I can get more seeds in that way. As I said, some of those packets of seeds only have 10 or 20 seeds in, so that's not going to take too much space. And some of the more popular ones are like the money makers, and one of the other ones I'll put a lot of seeds in because they go really well in the plant cell. So these are the seeds. So I'll just show you me planting up one of them. Oh, didn't tell you about oh yes, I did tell you about the chillies. I'll just plant up one of these trays, just put in a few seeds, show you what I do, but I'm not going to go through the whole lot because it's the same thing. So I will put in, let me have a little look here. So I've got some Black Beauty seeds and the stick. Now, let me tell you, I cannot tell you how many times I've forgotten to label my seeds. And you think, oh, I'll remember what that is. And guess what? The little seeds pop up, they all look the same, and I can't remember what on earth they are. So I'm trying to be more disciplined in the labeling. So this time I made the labels before I started sowing the seeds, because that's what deters me sometimes. I put the seeds in and la la la, and I think, oh, where are the labels? Or, oh, where's the pen? So being organised is really important, because otherwise you think, oh, I'll do that later, and then you don't. So remember, put the label in the seeds. So these are Black Beauties, and what I'm going to do now is just turn the camera around so that you can see what I'm doing. Getting the packet open's quite a challenge. Okay, so I've turned you around so that you can actually see the seed trays. Unfortunately, I cut my own head off, but you can hear me. So I've also got with me some cardboard and some scissors. It's just in case I want to put some more sections in here to keep the different varieties of the seeds separate, because sometimes you drop a seed and then you don't know which category they belong in. So sometimes I just put some extra sections in, but if I haven't got too many seeds and there's a big gap, then I don't bother. So I'm just gonna wait and see how it goes. So back to the Black Beauty, and what have I done with the label? Just a minute. So I found the label, it was there all the time. And so I like these seeds. There's a seed company in the UK, I'm sure it sells seeds to other people too, from Mole Seeds. And I like this company because they not only put the seeds in these paper bags, but these seed bags also have a plastic clip across the top like that, so that when you're finished with them, you can just seal them up. And you can buy the seeds in bulk. So if you're growing a lot of things, buying them in small packets it gets very expensive. But Mole Seeds sell them in bulk. So I'll use this one first. I might just sprinkle them. So they're fairly thickly sewn, but not too thickly. So I want them to have, so I might just, this is a very popular variety, so I'm growing plenty. I always regret it when it comes to pricking out time and potting them up, but I'm always enthusiastic. So there they are, and there's the label. Pop that straight in there. Put these back. Now, once I've sown all of these seeds, I can do one of two things. I can either cover them with a light load of fresh compost, or well, potting compost, and just put a light covering over that, or I often use vermiculite. And the reason I often use vermiculite is because A, it doesn't cut out all the light, and B, because you can see when the soil dries, and C, because I can see where that patch of seeds are. So the next one may well be here, and I'll keep the gap. So I know that things on that side are black beauties. And that's what I do with each variety on there. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit more vermiculite on. And as I said, you don't have to do this. You can, if you're only using a couple of varieties, then it's just as easy to just cover it, give it a light covering of your potting compost. And I'll just do that. The compost is already damp. I shall give them a little bit of a spray, but that's exactly what I'll be doing for all of the seeds, each of the varieties, for the chilies and the aubergines. And then I'm going to put them into a propagator. And I'll just show you the propagators that I'm going to use. I've got this propagator that currently have some onions in that haven't completely germinated. So I've just popped them in here really, just to give them a little bit of extra warmth and light. And I can see already that some of the onion seeds that hadn't germinated have. So that's going to improve the overall germination rate. It's a cheap propagator, and again, you know, if you don't have the space, money or desire to do things like this, then don't. It's not necessary. As I said, we're self-sufficient, or we're trying to be self-sufficient, so I do want to get crops earlier. And it is a big hobby of mine, so I don't mind spending the money. So this is quite a cheap propagator. It's heated, but it doesn't have a thermostat, so it's not controlled. It's set on a certain temperature. And these two grow lights that sit on the top. And you don't need the grow lights when you put the seeds in initially, but once you start to see them popping up, then really you should move them somewhere cooler. And it's only, I put them in here in this warm propagator because I wanted those extra onion seeds just to germinate. But you don't need the lights in the beginning, you just need a little bit of warmth. So I'm going to take these trays of onion seeds out and put them just on this tray, which I'll have some space. And then I will put the two trays, it takes 2 trays, I'll put the 2 trays of aubergines and chilies in there. And over here I have another propagator, same sort of style, and for some reason this was a new one that really hasn't really worked. I don't know why it didn't work, but it's not worked. So somebody gave me a heat mat, so I've just put the propagator on this heat mat and put that down there. So that's what I'm going to be using, and then once the seeds start to germinate, I'll put them somewhere where I've got some extra grow lights. So I shall do that and show you at the end once they're all done and in their nice warm houses. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, until the next time, happy sowing and growing. Bye-bye.